gay bros. So I had never heard that term until today when I read an article in Slate about gay bros, and it was written by J. Brian Lauder. And he basically talks about like this subgroup within the gay community, and it basically is composed of men that are gay, but they're not stereotypical gay guys. So to give you the definition that was used in the Slate article, they're basically gay guys with just traditionally manly interests like sports, hunting, and beer. The large majority of their bonding takes place through common threads under topics like Ron Swanson versus James Bond and my gay card has been revoked. Now, they have these groups on Reddit where they get together, they communicate, and I think that it's a really interesting perspective on the gay community because, of course, with any other community, you notice that there are stereotypes, and whenever someone breaks the stereotype, people think it's jarring and weird.
Yeah.
So, Dave, share your 2 cents on this.
Well, as I clearly have been brought into the Young Turks as the professional homosexual. I think that has become obvious. So I can speak to this as a practicing one of them. First off, I just want to get one of the quotes in here. It's for guys, masculine guys, who like sports, as you said, video games, and now here's where it went off for me. Military issues, grilling, knives, gear, working out, gadgets, and tech. Like, I love basketball, but I also would prefer a glass of wine than a beer, myself personally. But I think this goes to show that, like, in mainstream pop culture, for example, there's so much of the one type of gay, the fashionista gay, the guy on Bravo that's the hairstylist or the sidekick to the housewife or all that. And then we have a couple
effeminate gays.
The effeminate gays, and that's the way it's always been. And then we have a couple better examples of that, I guess, on TV. Can you think of any off the top of your head? I've been trained to say that at this point. But
no,
I guess the guys on Modern Family are kind of better.
Not really,
but
though.
Not really. No, not really.
So I'm very curious as to what the reality is in the gay community. So are the gay bros the minority, or is it something that's quite common, but because of the way the media kind of portrays the gay community, people think that they're the minority when they're really not?
Well, there's so many layers of this. First off, there are gay people amongst us that we don't even know are gay, and they're out there often in public, on TV, in the media, that don't act a certain way, so you don't think that they're gay. Actually, I've only been with the Young Turks for a month, and I've unfortunately once in a blue moon go to the comment section, and people are like, when they're not, screaming about some other stuff, they'll occasionally be like, oh, didn't realize he was gay, or blah, blah, blah. So if I hadn't said it, then no one would assume it, and then the only people who will ever be seen as gay are those effeminate types.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I'm not saying I'm anything that spectacular. I'm really not. This is just how I am. It's just how it is.
So there is some criticism about gay bros. By the way, gay bros is not a great way to name this little community within the gay community, right?
Do you think it's like too insular or something?
No, I just think that like anything that uses the word bros makes me uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it's not even about gay people, it's just about the word bros specifically, because I think of like college frat boys and like, hey bro, like I think of my Armenian brother who like says bro after every sentence, like, hey, I like your Mercedes, bro.
But like, that's what they're going after, believe it or not. That may sound weird to you, but that's what they're going after, because so much of this, gays still have this huge thing about masculinity and femininity and all that, and they always straight acting. That's like the number one phrase. Now, straight acting always seems ridiculous to me, because when you are in between the sheets, it is not straight acting. You know what I mean? Like, that's not what straight people do. But outside, you should be straight acting. I like military stuff. You know what I mean? Meanwhile, half the Republicans that are funding the entire military, I mean, it's all kind of crazy, but it shows how things aren't quite there yet, and that's why this thing blew up on Reddit, I think, because it's this private space where they can all come and express themselves.
What about the criticism that gay bros are basically making fun of the effeminate members of the gay community, and basically looking down at them, and in some ways, like, I get the sense that people feel like, the effeminate gay guys feel like they're being discriminated against within the gay community by these masculine macho gay guys.
Right. I guess everyone has like a soapbox they can jump on, right? So it seems to me that the more effeminate gays, they've had a forum for a long time. That's what we see mostly. You know what I mean? So that this group of guys, I don't know how they could do it otherwise. If they're coming together and finding who they are and meeting other people that are like them, and maybe the name isn't exactly perfect, and maybe it seems a little judgmental to the other guys, it's like, you know what, in any group, not everybody's gonna agree on not every straight person agrees on everything, so I don't think every gay person has to agree on everything.